everybody, I'm Blaine Tyler, coming to you again from the Bigfoot barn in northeastern Ontario. Actually, coming to you from my backyard. Just a quick update first. Yeah, I've been out footing, mostly road footing. Hunting season's in full effect here. So I do some road footing. You're going to see some pictures of a pond, and when you get to the picture of the trees, you're going to see, hopefully you can see a couple of them on both sides of the tree. I'll point that out when the picture rolls around. But last week we were hearing some mournful calls from the north end of our lake, and I got a picture of the lake coming. And I didn't get any video because I didn't put any video in this because I got like a fee that my phone wants to charge me for an encoded video. I'm like, what the heck? I'll have to investigate that. But anyway, there's the foot there. You can see him on the right side of the tree, a little juvie. Dark shape with the perimeter of his left shoulder and hair caught in the sun. I think there's one on the right. Yeah, their hair gets caught in the sun and it shimmers. There's another picture coming. But yeah, so we're hearing these calls. And they got set up, my tent set up, and the audio set up, and I had a fire going. And I struck out, so then I put the turkey out in front of the trail cam, and they took that without triggering the trail cam. So then what I did was I cooked some steaks up on the barbecue to see if they could avoid that, right? Dodge this kind of thing. And then, but that reminded me, the calls, that reminded me with Remembrance Day this week coming fast, that when we were on field exercises, when I was in the forces, the Army, out in Nova Scotia in the late 80s, after high school, maybe early 90s, maybe just late 80s, but we were out in the mountains of Nova Scotia, and we were all doing our tent tarp thing on the west side of the, I guess the plot of land that we have, that the Army had there. And I was at the very south end because of just the way they had arranged. And I remember rumor. I didn't speak to anybody directly that heard, but other guys in our squad were talking to other guys at the north end of the woods where they were camped, and they were hearing strange calls and sounds. And at some point, I guess the officers or the sergeants must have heard them too, because during this 10-day exercise where we practiced our shooting and survival skills and hunting each other, and these are just some pictures from the yard and then some pictures of me when I was in the forces. When we were out on training exercise, they decided to close us all down and send us all back to the base about halfway through, maybe a little bit better. And yeah, sure, they said the weather, but it was just your typical snow days, right? And that's why we were there. We were all in our snow gear, our white outfits, and we were like, doing some great training and stuff, getting ready for whatever. And they closed us all down and sent us back to base. Now that makes you wonder, and I didn't put it together because I was just glad to get out of the cold. That makes you wonder that other platoons or whatever, the guys who've come before us in basic training, and there is pictures of me, and there's picture on exercise, and we don't have our whites on there, but we have white outer shells that we wear over our ODs there. But other guys, other units must have encountered the same thing, the same strange phenomena or whatever how they classified it, the calls. Or maybe there was even encounters with the Sasquatch in the area that they already knew what it was, but they didn't tell us, except maybe the guys at the north end, maybe they might have seen something while they're going to the bathroom at night and the cold makes you go several times. They must have known what was making the calls or whatever, wood knock or whatever around those guys' tents at the north end. Because they didn't let us stay to investigate it. They didn't want us, let's go hunt them down during the day or anything like that. They packed us all up and sent us back to base. An expensive exercise was canceled, and they said because of the snow storms, wasn't that bad. I mean, we're only a couple hours from the base, so I mean, it's the same weather. We have to train in back at the base, right? Big heavy trucks aren't going to have a problem getting through a little bit of puffy snow. But yeah, they must have already known what it was that was making all the calls or causing the guys to be nervous. And yeah, I never really put that together, but you know how it is. You just go along, right? You're in the forces. You can't argue against officers, especially if you're private, right? But anyway, with Remembrance Day coming, don't forget to pay your respects for all the guys who are in the forces and all the guys that paid the ultimate price. And lest we forget. Thanks for watching.